Hello. Throwing a question of the day in the question box in the chat box. How are you? I'm doing great. Just got into the house from a long, hot walk. I got up early this morning, went outside at about 8 o'clock, went to one of my favorite cafes for breakfast while doing some work for a few hours. And then, like around lunchtime ish, I went to another of my favorite cafes because they actually serve gluten-free stuff. And so I got myself like a little slice. It's like a chocolate ganache. It's so good. It's so good. It's like a creamy chocolate pie sort of a thing. And it's like dairy free with a gluten free crust. Oh, it's so good. So I did that, and I bought. It's a bookstore actually, and I bought this book. And I know I'm out of this place in like 3.5 weeks, and I know I shouldn't be buying new stuff. I know I should be buying new stuff, but I saw that and I had to get it just because like I have plans to create a set of journals and all sorts of other things for newbie writers or people who just want to be able to write just because writing has been such a essential part of my change in my life, just writing for me personally. And I want to be able to create tools to help people to write so that they can become more self-aware and create better lives for themselves. So I had to get this because it just looked interesting. So I got it and I'm gonna read through it and I'm going to travel with it. I'll find space for it somewhere in my bag. Um, but yes, I'm doing a quick video, maybe maybe not so quick. But I spent some time this morning actually sitting down and sort of planning out what I wanted to say in this video because I really think it's important. If you see in the title of the video, I'm talking about how writers can protect their energy in the age of AI or artificial intelligence. There's so much fear based talk on the internet right now. LinkedIn is one of the spaces, and all sorts of other places by from writers who are really just feeling like they don't know what to do with themselves because they feel like things tools like chat gpt and other tools like it are taking away their jobs or taking away opportunities. And so I really just wanted to do a video that sort of captures what my thoughts on it are, because the fear-based conversations that are happening out here in the world are really just, it's exhausting. It's exhausting, really. Like if you for people who have chosen to be writers in their lives, you're going to have to learn how to get rid of the fear-based talk because there's so many people in the world who are sitting here telling you that you can't be a writer or all writers are poor and all sorts of other things. And you really can't pay attention to that sort of talk. You can't pay attention to it. You really have to create your own mindset, um, in order to be successful. If being a writer requires, or being a successful writer, I should say, if you want to be able to make money off of your writing, if you want to, yeah, if you want to be able to make writing the central part of your life, and to be able to make writing to make money from the writing that you create, then you're going to have to create some sort of a business around it, and it requires certain things, in order to build a successful business, which means that you have to learn how to be able to make money. And people who make money and people who do it well don't have time to be sitting around for all of this fear based conversation. So, let's see where I want to start. One of my favorite YouTubers, her name is Zaza Ali. She doesn't really post a lot nowadays, but if you look up her name on YouTube. She's a brilliant woman. I probably I could probably ride with about, I don't know, 85 to 90% of what it is that she talks about. But she's a brilliant woman. She's written some really beautiful books that I highly suggest that people go out and purchase. Um, but one of the things that she likes to talk about a lot is AI and getting rid of fear based conversations, um, and really putting yourself in the driver's seat of your life. But one of the things that I had issue with in one of the videos that I was recently watching was she was talking about um, turning or thinking of AI. She refers to AI or AI technology as being quote the devil, and I know she does this for um, maybe for entertainment purposes, and partially I can sort of agree with her. AI kind of is the devil. But when we refer to technologies like AI as the devil, it's sort of it's sort of off-putting, particularly for people who haven't built um, the consciousness to be able to sort of think through what it is that we're talking about. That means when they hear words like AI is the devil or technology in general is the devil, then they want to avoid it. They don't want to use it. And they just sort of put this into this other category where if they just sort of sit and wait for AI to disappear, then their lives won't be touched by it. And you can't do that in life. You just can't. There have been all sorts of technologies in life that have come in and rearranged life as we know it. And with each new set of technologies, we all have to learn how to be able to use these tools. Otherwise, we become irrelevant. Point blank. We become irrelevant. And the same thing goes for writers. Um, I'll give you an example. One of the things that I used to do before I became a full time writer was I was an educator. I worked with adult learners. I taught adult learners how to read and write. I taught adult learners how to be able to go and get job skills. I used to run a technology training program um, for adults so that they can learn how to, build websites and build computers. This was back in the day. And in one of the programs that I was working in, there was a big conversation. This was probably, I don't know, 2008, 9-ish. There, maybe even earlier than that, 2004, 2005. But anyway, there was a conversation about the use of technology in job applications at places like, fast food places like McDonald's or like, big stores. And people were afraid that our population of students, people meaning other teachers, they were afraid that their students would be barred from being able to apply for certain jobs because they didn't know how to use computers well enough to be able to fill out a job application. And I absolutely hated being part of these conversations because it was fear based. And I'm like, well, what in the hell is our job as a teacher if we're not here to be able to help our students to be able to figure out that they are going to have to get their ish together, get these reading skills up so that you can get on a computer and learn how to fill out a doggone job application online, because writing it out, you can't just, companies don't have time to sit around and read paper applications anymore. They have to do it in a way that's going to be fast for them. And they don't make these things comfortable and useful for the person who needs the job. They do it for the people, um, for the companies who are making the money. So you have to learn how to adjust. And it was our job as a teacher to be able to help our students to be able to get that and to get the training so that they can move their lives forward. That's why we're here. Teachers are here to be able to help people to move their lives forward. This is the reason why I can't be a teacher anymore, at least not in that capacity, in any sort of formal setting, because teachers are really some of the slow um, adopters of technology, and they fear technology, and I don't agree with that sort of thinking, that sort of mentality. And if you are a teacher and you are moving, if you are a teacher and you are trying to support your students in upgrading their lives through learning new information, well, what are you teaching your students when you are also just as fearful of the technology as they are? We can't do this. So that's really important. There's always going to be some sort of a new technology that's going to be able to come and will threaten life as we know it. And if you put yourself in the driver's seat of your life, you will never have anything to fear. You can't fear this technology. We can't fear AI. We have to learn how to use it. So really I'm saying all of this because you have to remember who you are. Stop looking at yourself as some lowly person, and you don't have any power over your life, and you have to sit and wait for other people to make decisions for you. Remember who you are. So that's really important. So the question of the day, I would really like to know, what are your fears about AI, if you have any? Or what are your questions about artificial intelligence, particularly as it pertains to your career as a writer? What are your fears about it? What are your questions that you have around AI technology? So I wanted to talk about how you can protect your energy when it comes to being around people who are talking about artificial intelligence, and to be able to keep yourself away from these fear-based conversations. Um, Number one is to remember who you are. You are a storyteller as a writer. I don't care what type of a writer you are. The world is in need of your expertise. We need your creativity. We need your ideas. And writers are absolutely valuable. I don't care what level of writing you're doing, whether you're doing writing for yourself, like if you just do journaling, it's so valuable to be able to use journaling to be able to know who you are. When you know who you are, you know how to be able to walk in the world. You can walk around with your head held high because you spend time getting to know yourself through your journaling process. Journaling has been a journaling has really been a key tool that I have personally used to be able to upgrade my own life and my own thinking and my own health and well-being. If you are a freelance writer, I do content marketing for companies. This is how I make my money on a day-to-day basis. This is how I've been traveling around the world for the last 5 years, using the money that I make from my content marketing. Me being able to write and create marketing materials for tech companies is a valuable skill. Now, there are a lot of companies who are using Chat GPT, smaller companies who are using Chat GPT to be able to create content. And I hear, some writers who are talking about how their jobs are being replaced with Chat GPT, or they want them to do their work for half the amount of money that they were being charged before. But to be honest, they weren't being paid that much anyway. There are companies who um, there are companies who value your work as a writer, and those are the ones who are going to pay you small money. I don't work for those companies. I know how to be able to go into a place and be able to figure out where are the companies that actually value my skills as a writer and are willing to pay me top dollar to work for them. You got to learn how to do that because I run a business and I depend on this business to be able to um, pay for my lifestyle. I like being able um, to do what I want. To be honest with you, I like being able to travel the planet as I please, and I've been able to do this constantly for the last 5 years. And I'd like to be able to continue to do that really for the rest of my life if I can, if it's still if it still is of interest to me. Um, Writing helps you to become more self-aware. I believe it helps people to become more enlightened. Writing can help people to laugh more, and it can help people to learn new things. There's a lot of people out here who are experts and they want to write books on the things that they are experts at. Um, all of those things are important. So remember who you are. You are not, AI is not greater than you. It will never be greater than you. As a matter of fact, that brings me to point number two. AI only works because you, as a creative person, exists. It's not the other way around. AI doesn't um, AI doesn't run your life. AI actually exists because they are using the creativity of people like you and um, I think, to be able to make life a little bit easier for us. It depends on how you want to how you choose to look at it. AI literally feeds off of your input and your human creativity. So the questions that you use, that you put into Chat GPT, for example, it sort of collects all this information and it makes one big technological brain, so to speak. And depending on what other people are putting into the system, if you ask it questions, it will be able to feed it back to you. Now, the problem with AI comes in when people are not encouraged to be creative. And unfortunately, that's going to be a whole lot of people. A whole lot of people are not encouraged to be creative. They're not creative. And so they're sort of looking at, Chat GPT and AI technology as the answer to all of their problems, or they're looking at it as a threat to be able to take over their jobs, and it's threatening their livelihoods. But you have to remember that you got to stop being afraid and remembering who you are, and stop believing that AI is more powerful than you are. Number three, in order for you to stop being afraid of AI, you got to learn how to use it. Stop looking at it as the devil's technology. Stop looking at it as something that's here to just take over your livelihood and there's nothing that you can do about it. You got to learn how to use the thing. So go ahead, download the Chat GPT or whatever other thing it is that you want to be able to use. Um, I use Chat GPT several times a week. I won't say I use it every day. I don't, but I do use it several times a week. I use it for my own personal stuff as well as in my freelance writing business. And then there's art related artificial intelligence tools. I forget the name of the major one. Can't think of it right now. And I haven't really dabbled in that at all. But I'm sort of looking around for people who can sort of give me a quick tutorial on how to use it so I can play around with it. Why? Because you just need to. It's good to know when these technological advances come in, learn how to use it. You can't be afraid of it. If you think of Chat GPT or any sort of AI technology, you got to think of it as a super brain or a research assistant. Like, for example, I'll give you an example from my own life. It's my goal to be able to take 3 months per year for focusing on meditation, right? So I want to be able to take 1 month. For next year, I want to be able to take 1 month in Thailand. There's a meditation spot in Thailand. I want to take a whole month for sitting meditation, sitting and walking meditation. It's one of Thich Nhat Hanh's, um, what is it, Plum Village um, spaces that he has, or hey, his name is attached to it. He's of course gone now, but I want to be able to go there. And then I want to be able to do an artist residency with doing my watercolor painting, and then another one for another writing residency. So that's 3 months that I have off to be able to focus on my personal well-being and my own creativity. I don't want to do anything other work related. I'll have other, stuff selling in the background, courses that'll be selling in the background for those 3 months that I'm gone, um, so that I can continue to make money. But I want to be able to do that. Now, how did I find this information on how to be able to do that? I asked ChatGPT to give me a full list of all of the meditation centers, writers' residencies, and artist residencies in the countries that are most interesting to me. So I looked at India, Thailand, um, I looked at Brazil. So there's a few countries that Portugal is another one. Um, all of these, I want to be able to not just visit places on a vacation, but I want these places to be poignant places of creativity for me. And so I asked ChatGPT to give me a list of places, and I got like hundreds, literally hundreds of responses that I have to sit and sift through. And of course, the better questions that you ask ChatGPT, the better answers that you will get. So if you want to um, do a 2 week meditation, you can do that. If you want, there's a certain type of meditation that you want to focus on, you can put that in there, and you'll get more tailored responses. Um, that's one way that I have been able to do it, to use AI technology to benefit my life. I also use AI in my work as a freelance writer for the content marketing that I do that people pay me for. This is how I pay for my life, for my travel. I ask AI to help me with, creating keyword rich titles and subtitles. That's one. I actually hate that. By the time I get finished with writing a bunch of content, creating titles is just not my favorite thing to do. I'll give you 10, 20 pages of content and it'll be great. And then I just don't have enough energy to be able to create the title. So I tell Chat GPT basically what the particular blog post, as an example, is about. And I will ask it to give me several choices for a keyword rich title for this particular white paper. And it creates it for me. I've had some of my clients, they will write content briefs based on something that they pulled out of ChatGPT, and they need me as a writer to be able to not copy what ChatGPT has written word for word, but to be able to take that and build on it so that it'll actually read like a human being wrote it, and it'll be interesting for other human beings to read, because that's really what we're creating for. We can't go around writing for machines. And those companies that are um, creating content for other machines, they're not going to pay you. They don't value your work as a writer, and they're not going to pay you um, high fees for what it is that you write anyway. So don't go over there. Focus your attention on the places where the people are going to pay you big money for the skills that you bring to the table. So I think that's it. I think that's it. Um, so to wrap it up, you've got to learn how to use the technology instead of fearing it. You have to get better in your writing skills. If you're writing for like content mills, or you're doing low pay work for companies that treat you like trash, um, I'm going to be honest with you, you're in trouble. If your job hasn't been cut already, or you don't see that there's less work than what there used to be, um, you need to get your skills up if you want to be able to continue to make a living as a writer. You have to learn how to have a writing career that you're in charge of, rather than sitting back like a scared person who sits and waits for other people to tell you what to do. This is not the way that you have a successful writing business, or really do anything in life. You can't sit back and allow other people to tell you what your life is supposed to be. You create the vision for what it is that you want, and you figure out a way to do it. I didn't just wake up yesterday and have a successful writing career where I could just travel where I want when I want. This is a process that has been in my brain for at least a decade before I even left the States 5 years ago. I figured it out. I got connected to the people who knew how to teach me something that I could use, and I learned everything that I could. And you've got to take that attitude with your writing career. I don't care what type of writing you're doing. So that's all I have to say. I see a couple of people in who are watching. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you got something valuable out of this. Don't forget the question of the day. You can put it in the comments. What are your fears about AI, if you have any? Or how are you using AI in the work that you're doing already? Hey, how are you? I'm good. Glad to see you. That's all I really have to share. So, if you want to be able to get some sort of mentorship or some guidance with your writing career, I do work with people one on one to do consultations. You can go to the description and click on the link in the description, or you can just go to my website, helanablock.com, and click on freelance writer coaching. So I'll be back with another video tomorrow. Peace.